will visit the White House, home to this country's presidents and their families since John and Abigail Adams moved in 1800. George Washington pushed for a home for U.S. presidents and designated land in the fields and forests near the Potomac River. A contest was held to design the building in 1790. The contest winner, an Irish-born builder named James Hoban, received a cash prize of $500 and not much more from a tight-fisted Congress to help him with construction between 1792 and 1800. Abigail Adams, wife of the second President John Adams, complained to her friends about the difficult times they had, living in the middle of nowhere. "Not the least fence, yard, or other convenience. The principal stairs are not up," she wrote, "and will not be this winter." Every presidential couple has made changes to the White House in its 200-year history. George Washington approved of Hoban's original design, but insisted 2 floors were enough. Hoban redesigned the White House after British soldiers burned it down in 1814. Theodore Roosevelt added the West Wing in 1902, and Calvin Coolidge added the 3rd floor to use primarily as a residence and private quarters. Let's take our own private tour of the White House, starting with the offices and formal state rooms where foreign dignitaries are received, met with, and entertained. Visitors to the White House enter here, through the East Wing. The East Wing executive offices were added in 1942. Franklin Roosevelt turned this room into a library in 1935. It's often used as an informal meeting room. The East Room on the 1st floor is the largest and most formal state room in the White House. It's hard to imagine President Garfield's young sons having pillow fights here when their dad was president in 1881. Abigail Adams, who had to live in the White House before the interior was finished, hung her laundry here to dry. "The great unfinished audience room," she wrote, "I make a drying room of, to hang up the clothes in." Today, the East Room is the scene of musical and other major events, like formal treaty signings. Probably the best known, most photographed state rooms in the White House are the Green Room and the Blue Room. They have been used as reception rooms, although Hoban designed the Green Room to be a dining room. Dolly Madison held fashionable receptions in the Red Room, where her portrait hangs today. She hosted functions for President Jefferson, who was widowed, before her husband took office. She continued Jefferson's tradition of elegance and gala social events in the White House. The West Wing holds the Cabinet Room, where department secretaries meet regularly. In 1909, President Taft built the Oval Office, where presidents meet formally with visiting chiefs of state and heads of government. Presidents tend to make the Oval Office more personal than other public rooms in the White House. Both John Kennedys used the HMS Resolute, an oak desk which was a gift to President Hayes from Queen Victoria in 1880. President Bush had this desk moved to the President's office, a more private, personal space located on the 2nd floor of the White House. The 2nd floor is where presidents and their families live, where they can have some privacy, and where their private offices are located. Although President Lincoln never slept here, the room known as the Lincoln Bedroom is the favorite of many White House guests. Churchill claimed to have seen a ghost in Lincoln's room, which may be why he preferred to sleep in the Queen's room. Theodore Roosevelt and Dwight Eisenhower both said they felt Lincoln's presence in this room. The Yellow Oval Room was upholstered by Dolly Madison in yellow and was called the Ladies' Drawing Room. It was used as a private office by Presidents Roosevelt, Eisenhower, and Truman. The Center Hall contains an octagonal desk, which was donated to the White House during the Kennedy administration. It serves as a drawing room for dignitaries who are received in the Yellow Oval Room. There are many more rooms we haven't seen, including 32 bathrooms, an indoor swimming pool, and a movie theater. Remember, the White House belongs to all of us.
In my promises to you, both before and after.
As Franklin Roosevelt said when he was president, "I never forget that I live in a house owned by the American people, and that I have been given their trust."